Every day, we all participate in economic activities. However, for the majority, economics still seems like something very dry, abstract, and difficult to understand. But today, don't worry. Aloha New Book will share with you a very vivid and gentle book on economics titled How the Economy Grows and Crashes by Peter Schiff. I will summarize the content and knowledge of this book in the quickest, most understandable way, and summarize 3 ways to help you quickly improve your personal financial situation. So let's get started right away. The book begins with a story like this. On a small island, there are 3 men named Apple, Faker, and Jerry. Food on the island is very scarce. Fish is the main food source. Every day they have to catch fish with their bare hands without any tools, so each person can only catch 1 fish to eat. Life on the island is very hard. Apart from fishing to fill their stomachs, there are no recreational activities. Among the 3, Apple has many dreams. He wants a more fashionable shirt, dreams of having a house to shield him from rain and sun, and even dreams of becoming a film director. One day, while thinking about his dreams, Apple suddenly came up with the idea of creating a net to catch fish. However, to create this net, Apple has to pay the price of not fishing for a day, enduring hunger, and facing the ridicule of Faker and Jerry. However, their taunts do not affect Apple. He decided that no matter what anyone said, his resolve remained steadfast. Indeed, as long as you have an idea and determination, you will achieve success. In the end, Apple's sacrifice was rewarded when he successfully created the fishing net. In one day, he could catch more fish in a shorter time, and the remaining time he could rest and pursue his dreams. Apple's fishing net is his capital. The story of this net helps us reflect on the relationship between capital and risk-taking, while also teaching us an important economic principle. To improve our quality of life, we must dare to take risks to create capital. To make the net, Apple sacrificed a day of fishing and accepted going hungry. In fact, the process of creating the net also carried the risk of failure. It can be said that out of 100 people who set out to make nets, only 3 succeed. To illustrate, consider a real example. You want to build a website to generate additional passive income, but initially you have to spend a lot of time, possibly 1 month, 2 months, or even a year, building it without any income. You also do not know whether you will succeed or not. So, are you willing to take the risk? However, when successful, the results can be significant. The prerequisite is that you must be willing to take risks and remain determined until the end. Now, let's return to the previous story. Apple has successfully created the fishing net and his future looks bright. But what about the other 2? Is this a division of wealth and poverty? In fact, not necessarily. Apple's invention has brought many benefits to everyone on the island. Let's see what happens next. The next day, Faker and Jerry saw that Apple had a lot of fish and was relaxed all day long. They thought about borrowing Apple's fishing net, but he didn't really trust them and advised them to weave their own nets. However, Faker and Jerry feared that if they didn't make a net, they would starve, so they negotiated with Apple. They would borrow 1 fish and return 2 when they caught fish. This was the moment when financial thinking was born. Faker borrowed 1 fish from Apple and would return 2. In other words, Apple used his fish as investment capital and began lending. Gradually, the islanders crafted more nets, and life on the island became more leisurely. The people had more assets, began to save and invest. Some opened companies, schools, while others did not want to open businesses but wanted to invest to catch more fish. And thus the fish bank appeared. The bank offered interest rates for people to save, and it used those fish to invest. People felt secure depositing their fish to earn interest and live. However, with the economic development came greed. Some people established banks with high interest rates and high risks. The government was created to intervene and control market interest rates, printing money instead of fish. However, the amount of fish decreased, and the size of the fish also became smaller. One day, a person could no longer eat just 1 fish, and inflation began to appear. Simply put, the government printed too much money while the amount of fish was limited, causing the price of each fish to rise. The economy on the island continued to deteriorate. On the surface, it seemed increasingly prosperous, but in reality, the value of money in people's pockets was declining. Real estate prices also soared, debts piled up, and the risk of bankruptcy was just a matter of time. I once thought that people in the past caught fish with their bare hands, leading a hard life, and over time, things would improve. But that's not the case. Even through many generations of development, the lives of the people fell into another form of hardship. The story ends here. Now let's see what the book wants to convey. In fact, there are two opposing schools of economics: the Austrian school and Keynesian school. The Austrian school advocates for free markets, believing that everything should be based on individual demand, while the Keynesian school argues that the market needs to be controlled by the government to avoid excessive fluctuations in the economy. From the perspective of everyday life, we can simply understand the following. The Austrian school argues that interest rates on savings in the market should not be controlled. The higher the interest rate, the more motivation people will have to save money, which will lead to more capital for investment and enhance the country's production capacity. On the other hand, the Keynesian school believes that interest rates on savings need to be regulated. If the interest rates are too high, people will only want to deposit their money, which does not stimulate consumption, leading businesses to refrain from investing and causing unemployment among the populace. The author of this book belongs to the Austrian School of Economics. One of the goals of writing this book is to promote the theories of this school. The fable about the economy on the small island is also meant to oppose the views of the Keynesian school. In some respects, the content of the book may be somewhat one-sided. However, do not misunderstand. I do not fully support the Austrian school. Personally, when comparing the two schools, I lean more towards the Austrian school because it aligns better with personal financial development. The Austrian school encourages us to save and accumulate personal wealth. If there are good investment opportunities, we should invest to generate more wealth. However, excessive free market practices are not necessarily good. For example, if the market is in decline and businesses have to make significant labor cuts, is there a need for government intervention then? If savings interest rates are too high and people are not consuming, what will business people do? These issues cannot be resolved immediately. If you find these ideas too distant, you can imagine it this way. When you unfortunately fall ill, there are two options to choose from. One is to recover on your own, which may yield a very good final result, but the recovery process will be very difficult, causing you to endure unemployment and have no income. The second option is to take medication, which leads to a faster recovery, but may have side effects that leave you feeling drowsy or even result in long-term complications. If you were in this situation, which option would you choose? Choosing to recover on your own means you lean towards the Austrian school, while opting for medication aligns you with the Keynesian school. Now let's move on to the final and most important part that I want to share with you. What benefits does this book offer in terms of personal financial development? I will share 3 things to improve personal finance. The first thing, accumulating wealth based on capital. To have capital, we must delay consumption. Do you remember that Apple in the story above made the fishing net by going without food for a day? That is precisely the act of delaying consumption. For us, saving money is the most practical method to obtain capital. Once you have capital, you can invest and not worry about living expenses. Additionally, your free time can be used to focus entirely on building a career. Broader still, your work capacity is your capital. Knowledge, the ability to increase productivity, and income from work are all forms of your capital. The second thing, your ability to consume depends on production value. In economics, people often analyze supply and demand in the market. Similarly, in personal finance, supply is the value you can provide in your work, and demand is what you can receive from the work environment. The difference between supply and demand is the wealth you accumulate. Therefore, to accumulate more wealth, you need to enhance your own value. However, this value is influenced by the market and can change. A skill that is hot now may be replaced next year. Therefore, to maintain competitiveness, you need to periodically reassess your work value and adjust and upgrade your skills. The third thing, pursue your dreams and dare to take risks, but do not let yourself suffer too much. In the book, Apple had to go hungry for a day to make the net, but in reality, it's not that easy. Sometimes pursuing a dream can take many years. If maintaining your daily life during those years becomes difficult, you need to reconsider. Over pursuing a dream can put you at risk. As the saying goes, too much effort can lead to failure. When facing difficulties, our brains may create a desire for survival, making you easily grasp any opportunity, which can lead to regrettable mistakes. Therefore, to pursue your dreams, you need passion, but you also need plans, strategies, perseverance, and caution. Remember that on the path to pursuing your dreams, you must have enough fare. These are the points I wanted to share with you about improving personal finance. In learning or in anything in life, we need to have a multifaceted perspective. No theory is absolute, and not every theory applies to everyone. However, studying economics will help us better understand what is happening in the world. As the saying goes, a dollar is a dollar of sweat. Serious reflection and learning will help you not to be at a disadvantage. If this video is helpful to you, don't hesitate to hit the like button and share the video with those who want to learn about economics. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to catch the latest videos. If you have any opinions to share, please leave a comment below. We'll interact together. Thank you, and see you in the next videos.